So the question is, how can the Warriors save their season? Well, they can't. They can't. I mean, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary can't help them save their season. So at this point, where do they go from here? Because saving their season to me is making a championship run. That's what we talk about.
Several days later.
Kuminga! Quinones stole it. Push ahead, Clay. 1 second to finish. He laid it up and in.
How about that pass? If it was not that far behind Curry, Beal had a chance to steal it. Now with 0.7 of a second remaining.
And just like that, folks, the Golden State Warriors are now back in the building. I mean, after talking heads like Big Perk started counting out the dubs, the boys from the Bay Area had a dramatic mid-season turnaround to prove their doubters wrong yet again. The Warriors are currently riding on a hot streak. And if you stretch their schedule a bit back further, they actually won 7 of their last 8, and 8 over the last 11 at the time of this video, while having the top net ratings in the league during that span. Despite not making any major moves at the trade deadline, it appears that the Warriors are relying on the pieces they have right now to propel them into the second half of the season, and if they keep up this momentum, there's a strong chance that they can make a deep run in the playoffs. Well, speaking of the said pieces, Steph Curry has been the guy for the Dubs during their 5-game winning streak, averaging 27 points a ball game, while having 50-50 shooting splits from the field and range. I mean, in their game against the Suns, the chef just kept on cooking, regardless of who's in front of him. Look, here's Steph running ahead of the pack. He gets a brush screen from Draymond, then after seeing daylight, he just launches and hits a long 3 with D-Book closing out hard on him. But here's where things got a little bit crazy. Steph is backing down the 7-foot Kevin Durant here. Then he takes a step back before firing a rainbow 3. And even before the ball could touch the rim, Steph already turned his back knowing that it's gonna be cash money. And when the game was down to its last possession, the Dubs gave the ball to the best shooter to ever live, and delivered the dagger to put this one to bed.
Curry comes free, gets the ball, puts up a three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry!
Steph dropped 30 points against the Suns, but before that game, he was already scorching hot during their matchup against the Pacers. I mean, on this particular game, the chef shot the lights out from 3 as if he was warming up for the 3-point showdown in the upcoming All-Star game. Look at this play. As Steph crosses the midcourt, he stops on a dime and just heaves a long bomb on top of 2 defenders, which resulted in a big splash. And aside from that insane 3, the chef kept on raining that night to put on a show in front of the Indy crowd.
Good to see Moses get healthy on this trip. Steph just hit that from South Bend. Detroit, so does Indiana. Steph Curry's amazing too. He can score in bunches too.
He comes in and picks up where everybody else left off.
Oh, Steph's 5 for 5!
This Human Torch racked up 42 points while knocking down 11 triples to single-handedly destroy the Pacers 131-109. Now, Steph wasn't the only one who was locked in during their 5-game winning streak. After taking some time away from the court, it seems that the therapy sessions that former UFC fighter Draymond Green took really helped him out a lot, cause he's playing his best basketball thus far this season. Draymond is playing like his old self, averaging 9.4 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 6.4 assists while shooting 64.7% from the field and being an all-around defensive menace on the other end. I mean, against Phoenix, you can see Draymond's finger all over the floor. Check this out. Kuminga and Steph are having a little split action on the strong side. But watch this. Draymond threads a nice bounce pass to JK, who then scores the bucket underneath. Well, if you think that was a tight one, here's Draymond on the post. And after Wiggins slipped inside, he once again lasered a ridiculous dime right on the money as Wiggins picked it up and scooped it in. But see, his playmaking wasn't the only thing that stood out in that game. Cause surprisingly, Draymond also turned it up a notch offensively and schooled Jusuf Nurkic.
Just crush you with a mid-range game. Draymond Green gets inside. A little English off the glass.
Quickly, your turnover percentage goes down.
Draymond Green does the same to Draymond Green. Green sees an opening layup, banks it home.
Draymond was basically all over that game. 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists, and in the following blowout win against the Jazz, he also had a field day yet again by racking up 12 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block to show that All-Star Draymond is finally back. The resurgence of Draymond has been one of the keys to their strong showing as of late. But if we're going to be talking about the guy who has really made a major leap this season, then it's none other than budding superstar Jonathan Kuminga. Even before their recent winning streak, the slow evolution of JK has been well documented this season. And after letting out his frustrations to Steve Kerr some weeks back, he's just been spilling his anger on the court since then. And eventually, the result of that was this.
Game, we're heading into the third. Kuminga! And he's 1 of 8. Cam Thomas is getting frustrated, but that's the movement. Dangerous attacking the basket. Just like that, Kuminga.
Against the Nets, Kuminga showed that he's now ready to make that all-star leap by having a double-double of 28 points and 10 rebounds while shooting 50% from the field and adding 3 assists and 2 blocks on the side. And during the 5-game winning streak, Kuminga was actually the Dubs' second-best scorer behind Steph, averaging 19.8 points on 50% shooting from the field, while notching down 5 rebounds and registering a block per game.
Foray into the game, he was a big scorer. Kuminga!
At this point of the season, it seems that there's no holding back JK right now from absolutely tearing the league apart. JK has now scored double figures for 31 games straight, dating back to December 7th against the Blazers, and from here on out, I think there's no doubt the Dubs are finally going to treat him as the official number 2 guy on the team, with Klay struggling mightily this season. Anyway, aside from the big performances coming from the big guns, the other reason why the Dubs are rolling right now has got to do with the stellar play of their role players, with Brandon Podziemski being one in particular. Pods was actually the guy who played the most minutes during the 5-game winning streak, averaging 31.5 minutes a ball game. And out of that, he was able to put up a solid all-around stat line of 10 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, while shooting 38.5% from the field. Pods has been an integral part of the Dubs' rotation, regardless of whether they inserted him in the death lineup or in the regular lineup. I mean, one of the things he's really good at is setting the tables for his teammates. See, GP2 sets a brush screen here, and just a split second after, Pods is able to locate GP2, who then throws it down reverse style. In this sequence, Pods plunge straight into the lane. But see, this is just a decoy to set up the cutting Kuminga for the one-handed tomahawk smasher. Now, when he's not feeding his teammates, Pods can also create his own shot to put the defense on its heels whenever they're guarding him. I mean, look at this. With 4 seconds left on the clock, he dances with Nurkic while tight-roping the sidelines and then pulling a tough step back to splash this one home. Well, aside from Podziemski, the other role players such as Lester Quinones and Guy Santos, as well as the returning GP2, have also been making a positive impact in limited minutes. In their win against Philly, Quinones had 13 points while shooting 4 of 7 from the field and 4 of 7 from 3. Meanwhile, Santos had a strong outing against the Pacers, where he almost got a double-double of 13 points and 8 rebounds. And as for GP2, he scored 22 points since he returned, and what's even more impressive was that he never missed a single field goal nor free throw in back-to-back games. The Dubs are clicking on all cylinders right now, and it feels like they're finally starting to hit their stride. I mean, their offensive sets look smooth and synchronized, while the improvement in terms of their chemistry are also quite noticeable as well. With still a half of the season left to be played, this is certainly a positive development as the Dubs try to grab a playoff or play-in spot right after the All-Star break. And as long as they stick together as a unit, there's still a big chance for them to climb the ranks and possibly win the big one in June.